guys, welcome back to Andertons TV. Thanks for joining us again. My special guest today on this very special edition of the Captain Meets is a young man, possibly from Denmark, some say from Holland, who started playing the guitar when he was 10 years old in a small place called Jutland, or near Jutland anyway. He took to that guitar, went on to study at music college, and became possibly one of the finest guitar players of his generation. So please, put your hands together for the wonderful Danish Pete!
Thank you. What is this? No, wait.
People have been asking me to do this Captain Meets for about 3 years now. You've been dodging and ducking and diving.
Yeah.
We've tied you down. We're doing it now.
Yeah. You see, I literally just got out in the door in the morning and just gone, come on, sit down, we're doing this. Put this on and let's get this done.
So come on, you had basically a fairly normal, learn to play guitar, similar age, lots of other people. Took it seriously, got the whole music college thing. Moved out, went to Copenhagen to sort of, be with the scene.
Yeah, do it.
And then
17 years old.
Crazy things started to happen.
Since I was 30, it's all come like boom, 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 jobs and gigs and meeting people. It's all happened like this quite quickly. Mm-hmm. From having the first gig at 13 to getting in another band, to move to Copenhagen, to go to this place and jam every Monday night, to meet more people, to get, to play with bigger Danish artists, to do festivals, to meet, basically all of this took me to meet Gary Wallace. Mm-hmm. I was sort of skipping pretty quick, there's been a lot of Danish artists, Julie, C21, DJ Encore, which it's funny how it all connects when you're thinking back to the whole, how everything happened for a reason.
Yeah.
And every time you say yes to something or no to something, that has just led to other things.
The butterfly effect.
Yeah. And for a Danish slash Dutch slash guy who, the Danish, where are you from, Danish Pete? I don't know, what language do you speak in Denmark, Danish Pete? Get that a lot.
Yeah.
There might be some people that needs to just check.
Where is Danish Pete from?
Yeah.
It's such a regular, the clue is in the name.
It's just, what language do you speak?
It's Holland.
Danish Pete. Anyway, you guys might just, some of you guys, don't know how school is there where you are, but anyway. So I met, through all of this stuff in Copenhagen, Gary Wallace, which is the drummer who has played with Pink Floyd and loads of people for a long time. And he basically, he was working with one of the guys from Aqua at the time, René Diff, who was doing a solo album. And I knew his tour manager, and he said, can you go? Gary needs a guitar player. There's no money in it. And that's another thing with there's no money in it. Yes, I can. Did some stuff with Gary. I said, give me a call if you ever need a guitar player in the UK.
Are there any YouTube clips anywhere of you playing on stage with Aqua doing I'm a Barbie Girl?
I never did Aqua. I never did.
Oh, you didn't?
I never did it. I knew the people. Gary did it.
Right.
And it was just the year before we met. So if we'd met like a year earlier, I probably would have done it. They're out touring now again. And I was like, how can I... Because it was like, can I please do that? Because that would have been really fun. I like to do that.
Yeah. So Gary Wallace, who even I've heard of, and I haven't heard of many drummers, he's been very successful.
Very.
Generally, sort of working as sort of the MD for, or is that kind of guy that puts the bands together, isn't he?
MD, so musical director. He was like 17 when he got into to Pink Floyd. And toured with them, and the stories he's told are pretty cool, from being one of the biggest rock bands in the 80s, just being 17, 18 years.
Delicate Sound of Thunder, the big gig they did on YouTube, and Gary Wallace is just like, he sits in this, it's like a cage, isn't it, of just like 1,000 different percussion and drum stuff.
Yeah,
and you got
jumping up.
You got Nick Mason literally just playing the real super steady backbeat through all the Pink Floyd songs, and Gary Wallace going like absolutely completely mental in this cage, hitting everything he possibly can.
And he's
very cool.
When worked with him, he still had the biggest drum kit. You know, his drum kit is the size of this room, and we were playing like pop songs. You know, and have a gong and a thing behind it, all sort of stuff. Yeah, very, very impressive. Anyway, so I said to him, "Hey man, you know, thank you for having me up to do some stuff. You know, if you need a guitar player at some point, give me a call." And he did. And I'm like standing somewhere in a venue in Denmark, you know, small, like the Boiler Room, whatever, doing a Madonna tribute band, like trying to put my gear up, and phone rings and it's Gary. Hey man, you know, I'm doing this Madonna. Do you want to come and do a gig with me in the UK? And I was like, sure, yeah. Sure. No. But it's like, okay, what is it then? Now it's Tom Jones at the Brit Awards. 2003 Brit Awards.
Small gig.
Just a small gig. And I'm going, you know, how is this even possible? I've done some, at this point, I've sort of worked with done some festivals and all sorts of stuff with some of the big artists in Denmark. You know, Denmark is very small. You drive up to a gig and you drive back again. That's kind of, if you stay overnight, it's like, oh, we're going to stay in a hotel overnight. You know, it was that then anyway. I think maybe people do it more now. So he called, I went to the airport, picked my ticket up, had a couple of guitars with me, and went to Music Bank, you know, and as somebody who hasn't seen the scale of a proper gig, because then it becomes, all of a sudden, it's just, everything steps up, you know, and Music Bank is just a crazy place where all the big stars were. So I walked in, and it's like this huge rehearsal space.
So what kind of advice then would you give to a guitar player who is fortunate enough to get that first opportunity? Have you got any like technical advice or just like relationship advice?
I mean, technically, you know, they asked me what I wanted, and I was like, oh, I'll just have an amp and I'll bring 2 or 3 pedals, and you know, and I think I wasn't really prepared for that,
right?
For the scale of it, you know. But it's all really down to earth. But I think the main thing is that you are a cool dude and you can hang out and you can, you know.
You are a cool dude.
Well,
and a very attractive man. That's half the time.
I'm a bit tired this morning, I must admit. But it's like 80% of it that you can get on with people, you know, like it. And I think that whole thing that me and Gary got along really well, and then that band, I got along with them, and you know, that just led to, you know, we did Brit Awards, man. You're there, and there's all of these superstars. I was
going to say, there's like hundreds of celebrities there, and big name musicians and actors and all kinds of
and
TV
this is like
celebs.
From me going just straight into it.
How old are you at this point?
That was 2003, so probably like 20. I don't know. What am I now? 204. 20, early 20s, 24, 25.
Okay,
like that.
So you'd had a little bit of life 24. Experience.
I moved out when I was 17. You know, I've always wanted to. You know, I'm not, you know, stay with my parents for too long.
I mean, when I think of Tom Jones's band, I always think that you know, he tends to pick guys that are a bit older. Were you very young in that band?
Yeah, we didn't. I didn't. Else? That was just a one-off gig for.
So that wasn't his like normal band.
No, it wasn't. I had some of the guys was in his normal band, and it was the band at that time. But I think Gary just thought that it would be really cool to get me on board for some reason.
What was the first thing? What was the first thing Tom Jones said to you? Literally, when he walked up and you met him.
I think he was late, and they couldn't get him out of his room, and there was, you know. I think he had a party or something. But he was like, "Oh, you're that boy I've heard about from Copenhagen." Like,
that's a great Tom Jones impression.
Yeah, you know, and this is the time where he's such a legend, man. He's such an awesome, cool dude that, you know, the guy you want to be your dad or your granddad. But this is the time where, you know, where the hair was all dyed and the chest hair was all dyed, and you know. That's what I want to do. I'm just going to go out disgracefully. I'm totally dyeing my hair and it's all
chest
orange,
hair,
you know.
Absolutely.
It was, and he just walked up there, and they had, you know, it was some beers, and it was really cool, and we just chatted about Copenhagen
and so literally. Presumably you're backstage or whatever, and because he, you know, I don't know, there would have been other artists going on before you, and then it's like, right, we're on. Yeah. It's live. I mean, obviously it's live in front of the audience, but it's live on TV as well. I think the Brits.
Yeah. I think it's sort of pre-recorded kind of thing. But it is. Yeah.
What is going through it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. What, I mean, are you literally just...
Yeah.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, he won like an achievement, a lifetime achievement award. So it was quite a big thing in the end, you know. And you're just scared that you're gonna mess it up and
start the song in the wrong key.
Yeah, all of that stuff. You know, I remember us doing It's Not Unusual, and we're playing it in B or B flat. I can't remember which one we did it in, but at the rehearsal, Tom come in and go, "Oh, my throat's a bit sore," you know, and can we just move it down like, you know, a note or whatever. And everybody's like, okay, fine, you know, or the brass section and everything. And the brass section was just insane.
Yeah.
Like 5-piece brass when they go, bah! You're like, oh God. You know. It's so loud. It's just the loudest thing ever. Percussion, like Jody Linscott, and I mean the top of the game people, right? And we're like, okay, we'll play it, you know, we'll throw it down, you know, a note there for you, Tom. And we all started playing, you know, instead of playing, you know, we'll play it. And then he started singing, but he's just sang it in the original key. And then he just went, stop, don't worry about it. I'll just sing it in the original key. I've sung it for like 50 years. I can't, there's no way I can even try to
So
it's crazy. The guys are awesome.
So you finished that gig, presumably on some like crazy adrenaline high.
I had a whole cheese home in the plane, a whole wheel of cheese from the Brit Awards when we all left at like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And there was all this food out. There was an ice bar with oysters and there was this cheese. And I'm like, do you want a cheese yet? So I'm walking out with a whole wheel of cheese, which I had in the overhead compartment.
Some great dreams that night, didn't you?
I had it in the plane on the way back home.
So like next day, you know, the alarm goes off and you get up and you're thinking, oh, I'm now not in Tom Jones's band anymore. Yeah. You know, like what's next then?
So this was 2003, right? So this is after, you know, I got back out of a few things and doing, you know, my gigs, and then Gary just called again and said, you know, I've got this tour with this girl band. Do you want to come and do it? And that was Atomic Kitten.
Atomic Kitten.
Yeah, all of those.
See, I know them all.
Everybody knows all of those songs, you know.
Which one was your favourite out of the 3?
Oh, out of the 3, songs. Oh, I thought you were talking about songs. Anyway, that was really fun. And again, that was then my first like proper touring.
Was Kerry Katona in that band?
No, that was after. What was her name? Jenny. Jenny was in it.
So she was in that band, but she left by the time you...
And then when I came on, because Kerry Katona didn't like me apparently, so she left the band because I'm... No. I was
just thinking to myself, come on.
No. So anyway, this is my first tour, right? This is with like dancers and a tour bus and hotel rooms and, you know, Wembley Arena and the MEN. We had a couple of gigs before, which was like one-off gigs with Gary called up, and there's these four of us, Toby, Chris, Gary, and me, and like guitar, drums, keys, bass. Yeah, but Chris was playing like a guitar on a lot of this stuff because he's a more piano player. But because they knew all each other from Aqua, they got all the Aqua stuff, and I sort of came in as the guitar player, and we basically did all of those tours together that I've done, you know. So it's been like a little. That's one other thing. Put all your eggs in one basket. Anyway, so yeah, that was good fun and you're like going, I'm going to play Wembley Arena tonight. How did that happen? You know.
So what is the difference then between playing in a club where you've got your backline behind you and you can just turn around and turn your amp up if you want to, and a few pedals or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And being on stage.
I mean, it's the same thing, really. I mean, you know, there's an interaction, and there's a lot of people, and they're all screaming. Ah! You know, we played Blue. We played this one-off gigs with Blue and loads of all the, you know, British Liberty X and all of these in one big gig.
Did you ever play with Steps?
And I think they might been there. It was like they were all a dream. They were like all there at this one gig we did, and it was so loud. I've never heard. I mean, people
the audience
screaming.
Right.
I mean, screaming. And I'm looking over, going, guys, like counting in to a Blue song, and you're just going, I can't hear. I don't know what's happening. It's that sort of thing, you know.
So just but is the sound on stage really different and disconcerting compared to doing a gig?
I mean, it is, because there's a lot of noise from the audience, you know, and it's just, you know, we didn't have in-ears because it was like a run-in, but then we've of course used in-ears afterwards, and then it's you have to get used to having click in your ears, you know, which is a thing I didn't do, where you just have to play along to a click, and everybody has to play along to the click while they're playing with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Why why don't they just allow the drummer to? Why don't you just play along to the drummer? I don't understand.
Well, some people do. I like to lock into the click and the drums at the same time. I would have mostly like drums and click in my mix.
Yeah.
Because then I know I can lock into that.
Yeah.
You know.
Was there ever a feeling that? I mean, and again, maybe I'm asking this question a bit early because I know you went on to do lots of other pop stuff. But was there ever a sort of a feeling of like, you know, maybe one day I'll get to play music that I like, you know, or did you like it? You know, was it all right?
I mean, I think from day one, you know, picking the guitar up for the first time, and somebody showed me, you know, a friend of the family showed me like these 4 chords. It was just about playing the guitar, really,
right?
And all the other stuff for me was sort of second. If I played in a bar in front of 10 people, it's just as good as playing guitar. It's cool to play in front of 20,000 people, 150,000 people.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience to play in a stadium. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm very, very lucky that I got to do it. I've done it. But I mean, there's not really, the connection goes a little bit with the music and with the band.
Yeah.
It's you have to concentrate more on, because the bass player will be 25 meters over that way.
Yeah.
You know, on a stage.
That's not far enough for me, to be honest with you.
You know, so it's kind of, you really have to, you know, once you do a job, any job, I think it just becomes the job, doesn't it?
So that was...
Oh man, I sound so ungrateful as well.
No, not at all. Because, I'm going to ask you about, like, you know, like what are the highlights of doing this? But your touring life from 2003, 4, was it?
Yeah, 3 or 4. Then is when it all kicked off with the tours.
And then you were relatively permanently employed.
Yeah.
Through which bands now?
So
Atomic
Kitten first.
Yeah.
And then it was Girls Aloud.
Yeah.
In 2005 when I met Chloe. And then she was a makeup artist, and I was a guitar player.
Girls Aloud.
Well, so she was the sort of secret.
He married the 6th member of Girls Aloud.
It's the right choice. And then 2005, 2006, I had a sort of a year where I was asked to do Il Divo, but that was, I had my own thing going. I was writing with a couple of my friends in Copenhagen. We had set up a studio and we were doing commercials, and we were doing our own band, Peter Max, which you can't find anywhere. And if you can, then please put the links in the description below. Where we're just writing our own songs. We won like a competition on the radio, and we did a couple of singles on the radio, and that was good fun. But it never really led to anything. And we wrote for some Danish artists as well. And then the 2 guys unfortunately fell out a little bit, and then I decided to move to the UK in 2006. And then 2007 was Il Divo. So I was sort of working in a pizza place over here in the UK, because I just wanted to go and I wanted to go and speak with Chloe, you know.
I'm loving it. So you were just like a waiter in a pizza place?
I worked as a waiter in a pizza bar in Maida Vale for $3.50 an hour. $3.50 an hour. You know,
there you go. So be grateful, guys, for when you get more.
So, anyway, I did that, and then because I turned Il Divo, I said Il Divo is not really my thing. It's a lot of nylon string guitar. It's a bit. I've never really done any of that stuff, and I had my own thing going on. Then the Gary called me back again and was like, "You can do this," and they were all like, "Oh, you can do it. It's all fine. You should play this. No problem, you know." And I was like, "I'm not sure if I can do it." It's like, "You can. It's fine." So I was like, "Okay." And I didn't have any money, and it was all a bit, you know. I even got a job in the Apple store in Regent Street, and which I never went to, because then the Il Divo tour came through. Everything happens in kind of happens for a reason, you know. Everything happens, and then you go with it. So, like, okay, Kuala Lumpur, fly directly to Kuala Lumpur, rehearse for like 3 weeks, all of this sort of nylon string guitar, where you have a click and you're playing some complicated nylon string guitar while they're singing and nothing else is happening. But if you don't stay to the click, they don't have to click, the singers don't have to click, they just have a guitar. So and then you'll have a symphony orchestra on backing tracks. So if you mess it up at any point, they'll come in, but nothing else. It's just you on a guitar, singers, and then there'll be strings and stuff on the backing track. Sort of
pressure.
There's a pressure. I mean, you know, just I could look at my hair standing up.
I can see it. You're literally just going to feel the pressure.
I remember that pressure of some of those. Once you've done it 100 times, and that was a world tour, and that's my first world tour, and that was just an amazing experience to travel around and, you know, see South America and you know, Asia, and it's just crazy. You know, who gets the opportunity to do these things? Europe, UK, like 100 gigs. I don't know, big all arena tour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
and then after El Divo,
Australia. Then it was Westlife.
You lift me up.
Yep, it was Westlife for a tour, the UK tour. We did Croke Park. There's definitely some Croke Park videos on YouTube from 2008.
That's the
greatest hits tour.
Enormous venue in Ireland, isn't it? Is it Dublin? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a stadium up there, which, you know, Ed Sheeran now will play like 7 out sold out.
But that holds over 100,000 people, doesn't it?
I think it was 90,000.
90,000.
But when you are, there is a picture of me that Andrew, my guitar tech, took of me when I'm like standing up, like doing some kind of solo in the spotlight, and there's just like these people, and you look back at it going, it didn't feel like that on the day, you know, because gets a little bit removed from.
You must be, yeah.
But it's amazing. It's amazing, and it's all coming back now. We're talking about it because, you know, and again. For that guy that was like 13 doing a gig in some of his friends, his dad's friend's garden, at this little hippie festival when he was 13, playing the solo to Smoke on the Water and hitting his first DS1 pedal and going, yeah, and oh no, it's too loud, I better turn it down a bit, you know, because you don't want to be too loud. To doing that and never really, you know, going to the music school and should have practiced more. You know what I mean? There's lots of things, but it's from the moment I chose that guitar route, I've had little jobs here and there, but it's just been guitar, and it still is guitar, and I'm really lucky about that.
Well,
so anyway,
you are lucky.
I'm really lucky. So and then, what was that?
Westlife.
2008 Westlife, and then Tom Jones started. They were like, because Gary had played with them before, back in the 90s, and. And they wanted to get that whole thing back again. They wanted to change the band over. And then they were like, can we get you guys? And I was like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I don't have anything to do.
Sign me up.
So we did that, and that was again, you know, going to rehearsal at Music Bank. And I remember Robbie Williams was playing. They were rehearsing in the other room. There's like, and Carl Brazil, the drummer, he came out, and there's a big sort of terrace, and coming over, going, oh man, it's you guys. You did that Girls Aloud video. I've watched it 100 times. One of the coolest, like, just.
Are you in
like,
a Girls Aloud video?
No, but we did the live video.
Oh, I see.
Which is probably also on.
I'm Just a Love Machine or something. Maybe
well,
you were in that one. I can't believe how many of these like terrible pop songs that I can keep remembering. But
that's so Chloe did makeup on all those videos. So
good for you, man.
So anyway, so
the Tom Jones tour was pretty crazy epic, though, wasn't it? Tell us about, you know, Vegas and some of the other highlights of the Tom Jones tour.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, we did you know, like a UK tour, and then we went to Las Vegas twice. So at the beginning of the world tour, it's crazy saying this Danish dude getting to do all this stuff.
You're Danish.
This Dutch dude.
But, sorry.
So, you know, we started off going to Las Vegas and playing like 18 nights in a row in the Hollywood Theater in the MGM Grand Hotel where you just see this in the movies. This is the place that you see in the films, you know. And there you are, playing with Tom Jones in the Hollywood theater, just going, how does this happen? What's going on, you know? But that was hard work, man. Playing 18 nights every night.
Yeah.
And I remember after night 6, and we're sitting there going, oh my God, we still got like 12 things to go. And Tom's like, oh, I used to do this twice a day, like for months on end. And he would just have, you know, they'll have some supper, and they'll go in and do a matinee and then whatever. Incredible. He's an incredible, you know. And I've never heard him complain one time in all of these gigs. Like, he gets himself on these planes. He had Dom, that was his, at the time, his sort of assistant, 2 like white-head, really tan gentlemen walking through the airport, you know, with their luggage. I've never heard any moaning or complaining or just happy. He was like, I'm just happy to sing. That's just what I want to do, and I don't want to sit at home. And it's incredible. But once you get that mentality, that, you know, the whole thing about, oh, I can do that, I'm much better than him, and all this stuff. Like, you know what? You're lucky to be doing this, and you could be working you know, not that it's bad working in a normal job, but you know, we're lucky that we get to play guitar for a living, and I think a lot of these, some it's gonna sound like I'm gonna sound like a dick, but it's like a lot of artists should just go, you know what, I should be really grateful that I can sing for a living or play musical instruments for a living. There's a lot of moaning going on. I've done it. I've been there, you know.
Yeah, I've never heard you moan once, I don't think.
No, but it's sort of, you sort of forget actually how, you know, how lucky we actually are, especially when you're on a tour.
So I mean, that obviously, you know, we've kind of, that's a 10-year odd chunk of your life.
Yeah.
And I'd love to, you know, I think it would be fun to go, you know, what was the highlight of that? But then after that as well, you know, what was it that did ultimately get you down about it, and maybe even things you wish you'd done differently during that time, and ultimately made you decide that you didn't want to tour anymore? But let's stay on the high for the time being. What was the, you know, what is the moment that, you know, if and when you have grandchildren, you'll go, come here, let me tell you the story. Let me tell you about the time.
It's working here. That's what it is. That sometimes I get recognised in Astor. You know. Yes. That's the highlight. It's amazing how that happens. Anyway, so I mean, we did this tour in Germany with Helene Fischer, which was the last tour I did, and that was a stadium tour, like a proper stadium tour. And she, you know, although, you know, she's got that sort of James Blunt vibe about the music that people don't want to admit that they like it.
Right.
Do you know that kind of?
I love James Blunt.
Yes, I'd like it as well, but people would go, you know, they go, oh, I don't like it, and then the radio, it comes on the radio in the car, and they'll turn it up, and they'll go, oh, this is the cool thing. Yeah, I like it, and I think Helene Fischer's got that thing, but everyone, she's like the German Katy Perry. Nobody knows who she is, but over there, she's the biggest star
over here,
ever.
Nobody knows who she is.
Over here, nobody. Yeah,
over there, she's huge.
Huge, and we did a stadium tour. I mean, playing 2 nights in the Berlin Olympic Stadium, and I think because I've done a few stadiums, but not like a tour. Sorry, I'm spitting. And that was incredible, playing like Munich, the Munich Open Stadium, with the sun setting in the background, and there's just like, you know, 70,000 people, and the sun is setting, boom, down there, and the sky is burning, you know, and you just there's the people. Those kind of memories are just insane, and you get to go and do a solo on Purple Rain or whatever. You know,
she would do Purple Rain covers, would she? Well,
we did one. I can't remember if that was inside or outside, but we did definitely do like a medley, and in the medley was the Purple Rain, where you're standing playing Purple Rain and thinking, "Sorry, Prince, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry." But you know, there is those moments playing, you know, just playing Sex Bomb with Tom Jones, for instance, where you've played it 1,000 times at a wedding or something, you know what I mean? Yeah. And all of a sudden, you just get their voice. And you go, oh, okay, yeah, you wake up and go, wow, this is just amazing, you know. I mean, most of it actually is just highlights.
Yeah.
Because there is, what is bad about doing that?
I don't know, I've never been there. But I can imagine.
And I'm really lucky that I've got to that point.
That's it though. I have met musicians, and maybe this takes us on to the next bit, you know, about the what would you have perhaps done differently, and why did you stop doing it ultimately? You know, that it does grind them down a bit, and
it's hard work,
and
man.
It does just become a job, and like any job, if you kind of, you know, it's easy to start resenting it and wishing that, you know, you could do something different. But so what?
I mean, you wash your, you know, you pack for 3 weeks, but you're away for 3 months.
So you're washing your pants in the sink.
At one point, you're washing all your underwear and your socks, and you're hanging it up in some really posh 5-star hotel room somewhere, because it's all really expensive. You know, you buy one glass of wine, it's like 17 quid, but you're staying at the Four Seasons in Hong Kong. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's, if you don't have any dependents and you're making a bit of money out of it, then it's fine. But you're still like, you're going, Jesus, oh, you know, what's happening? Because you kind of, the first 2-3 weeks, it's always fun and everybody goes out and you have a good time, you know, you have some drinks and go for dinner, and then it also becomes every day, and you want your own time because you are with the same people for 7 months of the year, you know. You have to get on people. It's so important.
So what do you think during that time was the one thing, or the things that you just think, you know what, I wish I'd done this differently?
I mean, I don't wish that I'd done anything differently. I'm really, you know, I've got this sort of, I don't know if it's a philosophy, but when you say yes to something and something happens, it'll happen for a reason, and there's a path that will take you. And if you say then it splits, and then you go that way, and then that's close, so then you go that way. So everything, but you know, having kids, having children, and having 3 of them, and having 2 of them really, really quickly in quick succession for 10.5 months between my oldest girls, and having Chloe at home looking after them, which is amazing. She's just been amazing, because literally me going away, having a child, and then going away, you know, all of that was there, but because she came from the same background, she understands that that's what we have to do. That's our thing, not just to the money, but also because it's just a thing that it's just you know?
Yeah.
But that probably was what ultimately led me to go, I just need to rein it in after 12, 13 years, you know. In being in Düsseldorf, in a hotel, and watching my 3rd girl get born on FaceTime at like 11 o'clock at night, and just when that was done, just go, okay, I guess I'll see you in, you know, 3 weeks or whatever, and then just going click off, and then you sit there in a hotel room, all on your own, thinking, what am I doing? What are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That again.
Yeah. No.
That is
anyone with kids will relate to that.
And that's why there's a lot of broken relationships on you know, on tour, and I get it in the music world. There is a lot, because it's, you don't see each other for a long time. You know, it's the what do you call it? If you know, you miss people. Absence makes the heart grow fonder as well, but it's really difficult to. We've been really good. We're really good at it, and and not seeing each other for you know. But it's you know, that we talk every day and all that stuff. But still, it's I think that was eventually just led me to when I sort of stopped a little bit, and there was a few things that didn't happen, and it was okay that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
The tours, really, because I got to stay home. The good thing about being a touring musician, a session guy, whatever, is that you get to spend time at home, like 3 months with your kids.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is you don't make any money in that time. So all the money that you saved up to pay to the tax man, it goes to this period of time. And then you go, and then the tax man comes and goes, oh, that money that I need now, can I have that? And you go, oh no, I spent that because I haven't worked for 6 months. That's also a really bad thing. And that is, you know, that's got me into trouble. You know, and that's one of the advice that I give to people when they message me on Facebook or something. Oh, what shall I do when I want to be a session musician? I'm like, go for it, do it. You know, it can be incredible. You have to be. There has to be some sort of luck involved, and because you have to be in the right place at the right time. But my advice is put 40% away to the tax man. I've even said to Chris as well. Yeah. It's like when you do other gigs that is not where you don't pay normal tax on it. And that's coming from someone who knows.
Yes.
And I'm not the only one that gets into
you're
trouble
not.
like that.
You're definitely not.
You know,
lots of self-employed musicians. Like you say, it's feast and famine, isn't it? Lots of money for a period of time, then no money for a period of time.
And you're away. You're kind of away for 8 months, and you kind of you forget because you're in a bubble. You know, you're in this bubble, this tour bubble, with these people that you're with every day, and you get into a bus and you go on a plane. You know, you do 50, 60, 70 flights in a year, and you know that's all you're doing, and you just forget that actually there is something that you need to pay the rent. You need to make sure that you know. So
obviously, you know the story post the Helena Fisher thing is, you know, we've talked about before. You know, you were. I met Pete when he was doing some work for a company that distributes products in this country, and he would demonstrate and do training on Martin and Boogie and other brands like that. Yeah, and then that didn't work out so well one day, and then Pete came and worked here, which has been great, you know, and obviously we've got to know each other, you know, really, really well over that time, become very, very close friends, and you know, you guys can see. There are lots of ways that you can make a living from the guitar. It didn't have to be a touring guitar player. You know, you can demonstrate products. You can have YouTube things. You can teach. You can, you know, all sorts.
It's really, really changed a lot. I mean, I taught in the beginning when I studied. In the beginning.
I can never say that properly.
In the beginning. When I did my my music degree, as it were. Where you get a piece of paper saying you are now a musician.
You're now good.
It's like it's like getting a driver's license and going, now you can drive. Of course you can't. You know, you've got 24 hours and then go and drive in the wild. That's not. It's the same sort of thing. You know, so you have to get out there and play as much as you can. What was I saying?
I can't remember.
I can't remember now.
It was lots of different ways to earn a living out of playing the guitar.
And it's changed because when I first started, I think YouTube wasn't around. There wasn't any Facebook, so there's not a lot of the stuff that I did. It's not out there because there wasn't any, unless somebody actually paid, you know, 500 grand to make a DVD of this video to sell to their fans. Then there isn't stuff. There isn't much phone stuff. And it was all phones was crap and now you can have 300,000 Instagram followers and make money
out there. There's going to be a little army of about 1,000 people scouring the internet for any clip ever. I think Danish Pete Honoré playing the guitar somewhere.
There is a few. I put some on my own YouTube channel. There's funny clips.
So I tell one thing we never really covered at the beginning of the video, and perhaps a nice. Who were the guitarists that sort of inspired you, and if you could have like one final hurrah tour, who would it be with?
Yeah, I mean the inspirational thing. I think we've talked about that before, and I think we're probably gonna once we finish this video, we're gonna go. Why didn't we mention that? Why didn't we talk about that? Because there is so much to talk about. When in the beginning, when I grew up, my mum and dad, there was always music, and it was always like Beatles and Stones and Led Zeppelin and Hendrix and Dire Straits and there was loads of different music. You know, the Men at Work, man. There was
Work. Yeah, I come from a land down under.
There was all sorts of stuff, and I never, you know, there was Robin Ford, and when I studied, it was all about the jazz, really, where I wasn't that much into it, but my teacher Enrico Rosa was like. It was all bebop and Charlie Parker and all sorts of stuff. And then you kind of get forced a little bit to try to do that. You should listen to Mike Stern because he's great. And you go, yeah, that's amazing. But back in your head, you're going, he's very good and all this stuff, but it doesn't inspire. So I don't... I've never sat down, I think I've said this before, never sit down and check something out like 100% unless I absolutely have to. What I tend to do is just get inspired by people like John Mayer, because we talk about him a lot, or Clapton, or B.B. King, or Albert King. I'll put it on and listen, and I'll go, wow, that's cool. And I go, oh, what was that lick? You know, and then, this lick. That Art Menenses lick. All that sort of stuff where you just get inspired. It doesn't matter who it is, you know, because there's so many great players out there.
So who would it be, though? If there was one, if your phone was to ring right now, and in fairness, they can be alive or dead, and it was like, Hey Pete.
Hey Pete. Well, they have to be Prince then, doesn't it? I would like to do Prince, but I'm not sure I could see myself in those outfit he wants me to wear.
That would be the one, would it? And would you have loved to have been in the Revolution? Would that be the band you would have wanted to be in?
With high heels and like.
Well, because that for me that was just a sick band.
It is sick. And with Michael Bland, there's so many amazing musicians out there and so many amazing bands. But I would love that. I mean, if John Mayer would call, I would be the second or third guitar player with him as well. I wouldn't mind that. Or Clapton. I mean, you just named them. I mean, there's loads.
But the one, Prince, you think would be the one? I think that's a great shout. Yeah. Imagine that, and in his pomp. Imagine the kind of show that he'd have put on, and you'd have been there, and you'd have been wearing some gigantic sparkly fleds with gigantic platforms,
really tight,
and massive glasses out like this,
with Manx on to suck it all in,
and a big Dutch football shirt on. It'd just be amazing. So, I mean, we've got some guitars behind us, which all belong to you, or have belonged to you at some stage or another. I mean, is there? I mean, what have you probably
seen? People have probably seen them mostly on the on the show that I've that used to belong to me. That was the one that was on the Brit Awards show.
So yeah, let's just name drop. So this was this did some Tom Jones gigs.
Yeah, this one here has done all of the gigs in one form or another since 2004. That guitar's been with me, and that has been on everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
335. What'd you buy that for?
335. I bought a guitar on eBay when I really wanted a Gibson Les Paul, and I bought this first the historic that came in of this guy, and I didn't really like it, unfortunately.
This was the 59 that you had.
Yeah, it's a 59 after trying one in Denmark Street somewhere and going, this is the best guitar I've ever played, I need one of these. And I bought one just off eBay, which was stupid. So I didn't like it, took it into Charlie Sanders and sold it for so much money, it was ridiculous. Like 3 times as much as I paid for it. And instead of getting the money, I got the gold top and I got the 335. And actually I bought this because when I did El Divo, it was all on line 6 floorboards, the first floorboards, because they didn't want any stuff on stage. And this guitar, I had this guitar, but it was not enough sustain in it. Once there's no sustain, so I bought a Gibson, and that was great to play some big symphony rock, Nights in White Satin.
Nights in White Satin.
Nobody goes, all that stuff, and some massive solo. That's out there as well. Be a bit grainy footed, but it's out there. This one is, of course, the.
Of course it is.
That's the Prince one, which I bought for like £100 of some guy off, like Craigslist or whatever, the same like Gumtree or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've had that since then. Not really kicked it very much because since I got it, it needed to be set up.
The doozies that you've had, that was more of a Elena Fisher sort of era, wasn't it?
I've always loved these things, and they're really, really good, cool guitars, and they always play good, they always sound good, and they never need a setup, they never need tweaking, and they got this certain sound that I really like, and they look cool. I mean, there's some good boys, and there's the black Strat.
Oh yeah, the black Strat with the shirt over it.
With this, I got this, and it's still got a Peppa Pig sticker on it. Have a look at that.
For the Peppa Pig tour.
I think one of the girls, when they were like...
Nobody knew you were doing that because you were dressed as George, presumably.
So I got this in Las Vegas after going out and being there for that long period of time. Most of the guitars actually have got some stickers on it somewhere.
Now, so tell us about obviously these guitars have been with you a little bit longer, so did some of the tours with you. But the best guitar you've ever owned.
I mean, it is. Look how light it is. So anyway, this came into the shop, and somebody, I can't remember, one of the guys in the shop went, "Hey Pete, you should check out that purple telly because we know you like Prince, you have to try it." And I just went in and picked it up and was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing! I need to buy this." So I texted you, "Can we sort something out?" Texted Chloe, like, Can I please buy this guitar? And she was like, "Yeah, we'll sort something out." And you were like, "Yeah, we'll sort something out." So I took a picture and put it on Instagram. And it got sold. And you were like, "Yeah, we'll sort something out. I'm just in a meeting. Let's sort it out." Got sold.
literally
got it
while I was in the meeting. So I had to come and say to Pete, I'm really sorry, but you know that pedal telly that you really, really liked, it's been sold, I can't help you out.
I was gutted.
And then though,
I remember, then I remember the guys came out. Oh, this guy, he buys and sells. He'll, sometimes he brings stuff back in, and I kept going like, has he brought it back in yet? Has he brought it back in yet? And they all kept going, no, but actually he did bring it back in, but I didn't know. And Lee took it. You called Chloe.
I hid
it was
it
like you
for
hid
months.
It for months. It must have been 3 or 4 months. And at my birthday, my 30th birthday. And then he's like, oh, we got a present for you. Got this case in.
Like, when he says we, he's talking about Chloe and his girls. I didn't buy him that guitar for his 30-ish birthday.
Yeah, 30th birthday. 30th birthday. So I opened up the case and I went, what the hell? What? And I think there's some pictures of me opening up the case. I'm sitting in bed, And she got it for me for my birthday. And that I'm never going to sell this guitar because it's epic. And now it's got it's the start of some telecaster revolution.
It's crazy,
on the
now we now sell copies of the copy, don't we? Which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, but it is an immensely good guitar. So this is just at the moment this is definitely the number one, and I would sell probably all of these before selling this. I'll never sell this guitar. It's very special to me.
It is very cool.
Yeah.
It is very cool. But that leads us nicely on, I think, to the sort of the final segment of this video, which is you've always been all your rigs, even when you were touring, apart from your Line 6 floor pod Il Divo segment.
I had a Veta head as well.
Oh, did you?
I remember, yeah.
You've always been a guy that just wants a nice, clean, simple amplifier on stage to plug some pedals into, and you don't care whether it's got an effects loop or not. It's just a few pedals straight in the front end.
Yeah.
You've had simple pedal rigs, you've had pedal rigs where you've used a gig rig G2, so a few more pedals, all that kind of stuff. But it's always been the same kind of vibe, hasn't it? Just a couple of different drivey kind of vibes, bit of delay, just
you don't really need much more than that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done the G system, the G2, and I've done the G system. I've got the Helix, all that sort of stuff, and I always use it, and it's always great. But I'm just going.
But you're a straight up kind of relatively clean amp with some pedals in.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, so tell us about the pedal journey, because I kind of think it's interesting. We're about to tell you about a pedal that Pete has designed in conjunction with Adrian Thorpe at ThorpyFX. But tell us about the sort of the journey of great drive pedals that you've owned, that you've sort of gone, so that when you come to designing your own one, you're trying to get that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always, for me, it's been like, I think I used a lot of T-Rex pedals in the beginning. There we go again. And they've always been, the Muller was good because it was like, you can blend the clean signal in with the dry signal. And that was they did this before all of the organic and the transparent and all of this stuff was there, and that's always been the tone that I really liked. That sort of where you can almost hear the fingers on the strings underneath and the clean sort of signal through it, and so those kind of pedals have always appealed to me. Where it's not, you can get all of that gain if you want to at a soaring lead solos. Yeah. But you can also, it's very responsive, and there's a lot of them out there that are good, but I thought we can do one better.
So rather than me hold a pedal up now, just while I'm talking, there'll be like some beautiful close-ups of this pedal, but you've got two sides to the pedal. You've got a drive side and a boost side, and you've got some tonal controls and bass controls and stuff like that to allow you to adjust it. Again, is this like, could you see yourself just having this is the one drive pedal you need, or would you still I
could do most of my gigs with that. But coming and working here for the last 3 years has been great, and you kind of, if you think, I've played so much stuff all the time, and you sit and play a lot on your own, and that seems to be a tendency out there at the moment, that there's not a lot of people in bands, you know what I mean? You see all these great Instagram players, but you never see them go and play in bands, and I think you should do whoever's out there, you need to find a band, you know, if you're 19 or
Yeah.
16 or 17 or 21 or 22, and you just sit on Instagram or YouTube, go and get a band, because that's when you will experience this a whole different thing. That's why Jimi Hendrix. Anyway, so
yeah, take us through. I mean, maybe just take us through.
Just off on a tangent. But so this pedal has got two sides. It's got the drive side and it's got a boost side. This is nothing, right? This is just a Fender amp. Everything is on 12 o'clock with a bit of reverb. So the boost has got a boost volume and it's got like a low switch. And the way I've set it now, it's more of a clean boost. So you go like, and without it, it just gives headroom.
Yeah.
And I love that. So you can play these.
So it's taking a kind of a nice Fender clean sound, but maybe one that's just a little flat, and it's just giving it some...
Makes it 100-watt kind of feeling.
Right, so it's giving it that it is that extra sort of headroom and that extra sort of fatness.
With that low switch in it, that, you know, if you kind of just go... So you can take it out as well if you're using it as a solo boost. So people want that little bit of a mid scoop, maybe like... It'll make sense in a minute. So it just adds loads of stuff on
It's
top
funny,
of
isn't it? The boost side is almost the least impressive kind of, or maybe impressive is the wrong word. It's the subtlest kind of thing. But
it's always on sort of thing.
I know, it's the side that I think the longer you've had the first pedal Adrian gave you, the more you sort of get excited more about the boost side and just how much it just adds.
It adds something really cool.
The drive side, I guess, is what most people will be interested in.
But that boost side will also work really well with any other drive pedal. You can have before or after, so you can put another drive before or after, which I probably will do, like a Tube Scream or something to you know. So the drive side is so clean, and then drive. So the drive side is very responsive, or you can almost get a clean tone from it. Not that I wanted to be John Mayer in a box, but you know. So it's very and this is just without it, and with it. I know the volume is up, but I like to put the volume up. So I'd rather run it all the time. Have it as an all the time on thing.
So what have you got? You've got the gain there about 1 o'clock.
So I've got no. This is volume about 1 o'clock.
Sorry.
Gain is just 11 o'clock.
That's
so
low
you can
then,
so you can take the gain down at 9 o'clock, for instance, and then it'll like. And that's when you can use the boost.
Yeah.
Without the boost. With the boost. So if you're using, you know, and still, it'll still do, even with the gain at just 9 o'clock. If you go in the back pickup.
A little bit hairy.
I go to front pickup. So it's basically, I mean, what we did when we used Adrian is like, he's really good at all of this stuff. with my Telecaster and with the Hot Rod Deluxe and with the V40 Deluxe, that kind of amp, that's kind of how it is designed. That's how it's designed to work, you know.
I'm just gonna, because I've got one at my feet as well, and just gonna show kind of with a humbucker how much more. So if I put again my drive side of things down at like 9 o'clock, let's just see what we got here.
The Hot Rod.
So here's my clean sound. And again with the gain pretty low on here again. If I pick soft, but I can get.
Then go on the back pickup. Try to turn the gain further down. Just like just under 9. Yeah, like.
So it's just got a little bit, hasn't it? But with humbuckers, even with the gain right down low, it's still got that. And what I do like about this is that the boost side of it is before the drive side.
Yeah, so boosting into it.
Yeah, which has always been how I would use a boost pedal.
Yeah, that's how I would use. That's why it's like that, you know.
And I do love that sort of. Oh!
And if you turn the boost down now and just the level of the boost and then do the same thing, it wouldn't. It's not necessarily gonna.
You mean just with the boost?
No,
side
just
of things?
with both on.
So this is just the drive side.
Yeah. Really nice and fat. I mean, you could probably put a little bit more top end. I think the amp is run a bit.
Oh, I like it like that though.
It's like big. It can almost do like a fuzz thing if you do the lows all the way up. If they put the lows all the way up.
Thorpy is kind of like a bit of a fuzz expert, but this was a sort of a depart. You know, the first time he'd really done a.
It's nothing like he's ever done.
Yeah.
You know, but if you do gain drive at about 3, and then the lows all the way up. Is almost fuzzy, which, you know.
It's a great blues tone then, like a sort of a mid-drive blues tone.
It's a good like. See,
it's a bit more bass in, doesn't it? In
but that's the. So you put the low in.
Yeah.
But it would kick. I like it. The lows. If you take the lows out when you boost it, it'll go through the mix more. Which is always the problem. That's why people use tube screamers to get through the mix.
Yeah, understood.
So there's a lot. There's a lot in it. And it's called the Dane.
It's called the Dane. Yeah, as opposed to the Dutchman.
It's the Dutch dude.
And
it's purple.
So it's purple pedal, handmade in the UK. Right now, Adrian Thorpe and his lovely wife Georgia make them all themselves.
Yeah.
So it's proper boutique-y kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the chassis. That's why I picked that because he makes something that looks different from anything else. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
and it's a small. It's now a smaller box than it was before. So if I just
a little bit more compact than the Veteran, isn't it?
Yeah. So the Veteran is here. I don't know if you can. If I can do this down here, I'd show you. So it's all been made much smaller. Can you see that? If it's not
Runs
too shiny.
Off a regular 9-volt, right?
9-volt. Battery.
You can battery power it, can you?
There's a battery in this one. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It wasn't supposed to be a battery in it, but if you want, you can.
So these are $249. That's UK money. including VAT and free shipping in the UK. And it's just going to be a regular pedal in the Thorpy lineup in the catalogue.
So if you like it, we're really proud of it. Actually.
You don't have to worry too much about if it's going to take you a couple of months to save up for that. Don't panic. It's going to be available. There's an American retailer for it in Riff City Guitars, which is cool. In Europe, just Andertons. If you're somewhere else in the world, check out the Andertons website because we may be able to ship it to you there. But what's the cool thing about the first 200? Of which, by the way, I think 125 are in the UK and 75 have gone to America.
Yeah.
But what's cool about the first 200?
Well, it's cool that I'm going to sign them all.
Woo!
And hopefully I'll do a secret little message.
So you're not just signing them on the inside or the outside?
Inside.
So they're signed on the inside and a little what? A little message.
I'll probably lick one of them. So
well,
if you open it up and there's like little fungus growing on it, that's because I've licked it.
That's because you've licked it.
Yeah.
Nice. So what's the future then, man? What is left in...
Well, you know, this is great. I've been working here for 3 years now. It's been really great, and there's a lot of great things going on with this. I'm just going to keep doing this because I'm happy doing it. So,
would you like Pete to stay with Andertons for as long as possible, making great videos and sexual guitar riffs? I would.
I would too. I do my own thing, don't I? I do my own little channel and my own little stuff. But that's just whenever I've got time to do it. And
subscribe to that. What's it called, Mr. Pete?
Mr. Pete Honoré, or Facebook, Instagram, a link below. I'm not doing all that stuff, but that's just so I also can do other things that we might not be able to do on here. That's what I do. You know, like watch that link
those kind of videos,
from that sort of.
We definitely can't do those on this channel.
No, but just people saying, "Oh, what was that groove you played on that video?"
Yeah.
And then I go, "That was this loop kind of thing," you know. So
it's all cool, man. Well, I hope one day you and I get to make a film like that sort of. Maybe we could have chappers and everyone in it, but we do it like that sort of Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman sort of thing, where they're like really old. Is it The Bucket List or something?
Or the Heist or something?
Where we just have some sort of crazy like last gasp when we're all really old. Like the Marigold Hotel for guitar players.
For guitar on YouTube. Oh, they can't play anymore.
My fingers don't work anymore.
Oh no, what's happening? Oh, I pooped my pants.
Anyway, man.
Thanks, Lee.
It's always a pleasure spending time with you. Thanks for teaching me loads of new guitar things and being generally cool.
It's really cool, man. It's good.
So
it's all good. So, and if there's any questions, comment below. I'll try to answer them. Or you know what, get me an Instagram. Yeah, I'm over there as well, and that's where I try to talk to
yes, do a brother a favour. Go and check out the pedal, the Dane pedal. Again, we'll put a link in that below. And
I like it. It's
help
good,
support,
man. Thanks, Thorpy.
Pete and his family by purchasing one. That would be amazing.
I have got 3 kids, you know.
Yes.
And they're all girls. They need ballet shoes and swim lessons and self-defense classes.
Wow.
When they're they're going to be teenagers.
All 3 in one go. If you just need to have some sort of traditional dance in the swimming pool whilst fending off teenage boys.
While calling me Danish Pete, they're starting to call me Danish Pete now. They don't call me Daddy anymore. They call me Danish Pete.
Right.
Where are you from, Danish Pete?
Anyway, take it easy, guys. Catch you later. Thanks for watching. See you next time.